Aphromoo pick up Graves. Just game number 1 with the Graves was so nasty down bottom, was able to just control the lane so well. Very early leads, has great AoE, just all-around strong champion. Aphromoo playing him like a boss. So, we'll have to see. I always love Graves. He's the man in black. He's, he's Johnny Cash.
So I was thinking about the Karthus ban. I feel it makes sense, because that's where a lot of the damage output was on mTw. And they had Riven there to get into the thick of things for the dispersal, and especially with that Baron fight, Karthus just goes ahead, suicides in. We have the wall, we have the AoE, we have the ult, we had all the damage we need to because everyone had to filter out to try and get there. And he also got relatively well farmed there as well. So he definitely had the damage.
Yeah, I mean, Karthus is a very safe pick. He is able to farm very easily. The wall and everything works out very well, so it definitely makes sense. We've seen him 2 games now. Game number 1 didn't really work out that well, but the Karthus pick was still very strong. We saw, Karthus, they were just barely not able to eke out those kills, but it was very close to happening. So I'm not that surprised for them, to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it's been working well for them. If they know if Karthus just barely gets over the edge, just barely gets those kills, all of a sudden they snowball. They have such a strong late game.
Janna's open. I think, dude, it would definitely be first pick worthy.
Yeah, Janna definitely makes sense.
Yeah, so you keep it away, because that was mTw's first pick last game. It worked out very well. We had the extra damage buff on Sivir. We had the great dispersal if we needed it to. Sometimes it didn't work all too well, but it was there. It was available, and I think it may be a wise pick for Evo right now. I'm pretty sure they're mulling it over. And if they don't pick Janna, I'm thinking other supports are definitely possible. And we've also been seeing a lot of Blitzcrank play lately. The Blitzcrank, just like in solo queues, got really popular. There's the Graves pick, actually. We're going to go ahead and take that away from mTw.
Yeah, and so we saw, the Graves was very coveted.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that they might, because they banned out Graves last time, didn't want to ban him this time. Their first pick, they can grab the Graves. He pairs so well with almost any lane. I think that, Ashe and Varus both do very well against Graves, but you saw how much control Aphromoo had. And so, even if you can't get the harass exchange, you have the burst potential. You can easily push them under the tower. So pushing them under the tower, you get that farm advantage, as we saw into game number 1. And, with the dash, he's just such a strong champion overall. Nocturne definitely works. Graves, fairly safe, but because he's short range, if Nocturne gets the good initiation, followed up with the team, they can get those quick kills. And then you have to consider the Nocturne and Janna combo. You have so much movement speed. Nocturne can be very aggressive about counter jungling with his Q and with Janna passive. He's going to be flying all over the map.
Yeah, Nocturne, I mean, he didn't, he did okay game 1. There's a lot more to be desired, but Alistar was a support game 1. They, mTw themselves banned out Janna.
Boss Blitz. Nat, do it. I want to see
please.
this. That would be, really exciting at bottom lane.
Do it. Grab the bot.
I think he's going to. Against Janna, she's generally a very safe lane. The big thing with Janna is, I don't know, you don't use her as much for lane control anymore. She's a safe lane, but she's not an aggressive harass lane like she used to be. She pairs very well with a number of champions. We might even see a Sivir pickup from, mTw, and they did consider it that first game. We saw Evo picking it up that second game, mTw picking up that second game worked very well for them. And so Sivir versus Blitz is a strong matchup. Sivir has that range burst. You can get that harass, and then you obviously have the spell shield, so you can avoid that Blitzcrank pull.
Right.
But if Blitz can get the pull onto Janna, all of a sudden Janna's down. I mean, she won't be able to get off her, any of her shields or spells fast enough. But we see actually Taric. So Taric is a safe pick. Works a little bit better if we were to see mTw go Sivir. And Sivir versus Blitz is kind of a tough matchup. But Taric worked well for them in the past. He has that enough burst damage to take people down. He has the heal. So with the heal, they can regen Janna very easily, control the lane that way. And then having Mundo versus Nocturne, 2 of the fastest junglers in the game, you don't have to worry about Nocturne counter jungling with the Janna, because Mundo is going to be there clearing out his own waves.
I would have rather see Evo go with an Alistar pick instead for their support, because if they're trying to bait out, if they're expecting to play up against Sivir, Alistar at the very least, the headbutt, even if it does get shielded,
it actually pops both.
It does pop both.
So spell shields, all the spell shields in the game, the way they're designed, if you used spells too fast, like any combination of quick spells, they hit the spell shield, and most spell shields, they'll pop 2 abilities that happen instantaneously. So when you hit the Alistar, headbutt pulverize combo, if you hit it, the usual timing for it, you hit them kind of both at the same time, it will... the spell shield actually blocks both of the spells. There's a timing. It's kind of difficult. What happens if Alistar can hold off on his pulverize a little bit, or even not use it? He can use the pulverize in with the spell shield, and then follow it up with the, use the headbutt in, and then follow it up with the pulverize. So he still has that potential. You're right.
Yeah.
He can, wait on his pulverize. However, for the fast combo where you just want to get it off really quickly,
right.
It actually oftentimes pops both. It's a weird timing thing.
But to pick Taric,
but you're right, he could hold on it.
Yeah, but to pick Taric though, because that stun, it's a very telegraphed stun. You see it coming towards you. You know it's there. It gives you plenty of time to spell shield if you're skilled enough. So I think,
and we saw that last game.
Yeah, we did quite a
bit.
But
the thing with Taric is that he also has his W. He can very easily just run straight at Sivir, and so what Sivir needs to do is just kite very effectively. She does have the movement speed from her passive, so she can do it. However, if she allows Taric to get in range and doesn't kite as well as she should, or Janna doesn't throw up the whirlwind, he can pop it with his W, then throw off the stun. They have that burst potential. And then you also have to consider Sivir's spell shield is on such a long cooldown. There is that serious threat, but we see Renekton in the top lane, the eater of champions, the destroyer of worlds.
I'm sorry, just when you were talking about Janna's, when you said throw up the whirlwind at this man, I just thought just like
isn't that how she uses it? I just assumed.
I would hope so. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, I would not want to go drinking with her, though. That'd be disastrous.
Yeah. But it's interesting. For mTw, we have the Ziggs pick. Ziggs is a really strong laner, and a lot of times you go Ziggs against aggressive lanes. So as a result, Salse's like, oh, you're going Ziggs. Salse plays a lot of Ziggs, and he's well accustomed to the playstyle. He's like, all right, well, I'll just go Vlad. I'll farm mid. No big deal. You do have some ranged harass advantage for Ziggs, so you have to worry about that early. But Vladimir is generally extremely safe in the mid lane. Doesn't have to worry about any sort of kill potential early. Ziggs does have the burst, so he will want to watch out for it. But even so, Vladimir has the regen. Renekton top versus Malphite. Now, that's actually a really interesting lane matchup. And you've seen Malphite go top occasionally in the past. Usually, it's against heavy physical teams you want to shut down. Well, who do we have on the other team? We have Graves as Aphromoo, and we saw game number 1 how devastating he could be. So, Malphite, you have this great initiation. You jump onto Graves. All of a sudden, you can burst him down. If you don't burst him down, you have the attack speed slow with your E. You completely shut down most physical carries. Top lane, Renekton versus Malphite. I'm not honestly, sure how exactly that lane's going to work out, but the issue for Malphite is that Renekton has such a strong early game. He's got so much burst damage. He can pop the shield. He can get off some quick damage, and that's going to be really devastating. But I think Malphite is going to have enough regen. Renekton doesn't have enough sustained damage to take him down. If Renekton jumps into him, Malphite throws off his Q, throws off his E. Now all of a sudden, Renekton has to go back, sad. He doesn't have as much killing potential as he would want. And when Malphite hits level 6, that's when you start seeing him be more aggressive. He can farm up very easily and then have that burst potential to just jump on the Renekton, follow it up with the rest of his team. You don't want to, dive Renekton clearly because he's going to have that ultimate. He can turn 2v1 situations very easily. He's so much fun. I need to find that video with Wings of Death with that Renekton play. He does play a lot of Renekton. He's awesome with it.
We may not even need it because we're about to see it right here. But in terms of facing up against Malphite, Malphite is very similar to playing up against a Scion. I feel is that we have the shield innate onto Malphite. He's going to regen after ever so long. And right now, if you can manage to take down the shield of Malphite, you take down a good chunk of his defense, and you make him a little bit skittish. And I feel that Renekton can definitely close the gap with Malphite. We can dash in. We can just go ahead and get all the damage we need to. Maybe even take all the shield away in one swipe even.
No, he'll definitely be able to burst down the shield. That's something he can easily do. The concern is the follow-up. And Malphite, the shield is down. I think it's 10 seconds now. It was 12 seconds, but I think they reduced it to 10 seconds. So that was the big nerf to him along the ways back. He used to be such a strong laner because his shield was constantly up.
Right.
But the issue is, even if Renekton can drop the shield, I'm not sure whether or not he's going to have enough follow-up damage, because then Malphite can exchange a little bit of damage, get out of there very easily, allow his shield to regenerate. Renekton, early on, before level 6, he's going to be in complete control of the lane. Like, there's no doubt about it. If Malphite tries to come and farm, Renekton can just completely shut him out. I mean, whenever Malphite tries to come up and farm, Renekton's going to be very aggressive. The concern is whether or not Renekton's going to be able to bully him for kills. That's not really going to happen. We will see a quick farm advantage. I'm just not sure that he's going to be able to force him completely out of lane, which is what you want to do against Malphite. But then once Malphite hits level 6, once he starts getting into the game, he definitely works very well with their comp, with the fight control, with the AoE, with Ziggs, with the anti-carry status.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Malphite, the pick I feel is just more definitely towards mid game, late game once we start getting to the team fight, because there's a reason right here that Evo decided to take Graves first pick. They recognize the power he has. They picked him game 1. They won quite well. Graves got pretty well fed. He was very effective and was one of the contributing factors for them taking game 1. So I think right now mTw is concerned. How do we shut down the Graves?
Right.
Malphite.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good decision for him. So we'll have to see how it works out. As an anti-carry, he works perfectly. We have the zoning with mandatory cloud on Ziggs, so zoning and disruption. So we have a lot of movement speed from Janna, but then we have great disengage with both of them. So it's going to be difficult for TSM Evo to engage these fights, and I think that's something that we have to consider. The fact that they don't have great initiation. What they do have is a lot of bruisers, and so what they primarily want, TSM Evo, they want to get off to a good start. They want to just farm into that late game. If they get an early advantage, that's great. But primarily, they just want to become so strong that they don't have to initiate fights. They're just like, yeah, you guys are going to have to bring the fights to us. And one of the issues there is that Ziggs has a lot of poke, and when you don't have initiation versus poke, that can tend to work against you. Ziggs can clear out the creep waves very easily. It will be difficult for them to push down towers because of Ziggs' clearing capabilities, and we actually see they're grouping down at this red. They don't want to allow Mundo to get that early red, or maybe they're concerned about getting vision on him. Maybe they just want to drop a ward and back off. We'll have to see.
Yep, and not to mention, we actually got to move in. Muffin Q is going to be leading the charge. We got the stun coming in from Tarek, and Muffin Q is going to be exhausted. Will he be able to get away from this one? Just barely. He is ignited. The shield may be enough to protect him, but we got the first blood on Ziggs. Going on to Mundo. Nani will actually be next. Yes, he will be. Can we actually get another kill here? Onto Afremu. We got the flash in. We got the ricochet trying to get the damage we needed, but no. That is 2. I thought for sure Muffin Cutie was going to be going down on that one, but the ignite.
You saw him waiting off. I don't think he had that shield leveled, and so
yeah, I don't think he did either.
It looked, because of how long it took him to get it off, it looked like he was like, what's
going
on? Yeah, and so he got it off. He was able to get that. It's interesting. We don't have a lot of disables for their team.
No.
However, they have so much AoE damage, they can quickly burst people down, and they knew they had that advantage. Ziggs is actually really strong early game just because of how much burst he has. The passive is very strong at picking people off. Nocturne, I think a lot of people underestimate his early damage. When you throw off the Q, you have your passive for that AoE burst. You can just burst people down really quick, and we saw previously how much damage Sivir has. We know she's got a lot.
So much damage, she accidentally took the big wolf. You'll also
I would normally be concerned, but Nocturne's 1-0-1, so
good.
I don't think he cares.
He's good. But we also see, in terms of skill purchases as well, we saw Atlanta actually pick up Ricochet, not the Boomerang Blade. We had everyone very much clumped up, but we didn't have vision on everyone. If you have the Ricochet, if you can manage to just hit one person, it will follow up, and since we didn't have the vision we needed, we were able to connect. We got Smithy here, actually immediately coming in for a level 2 gank. We got the stun coming in from Tarek. But Afremu is so hurt right now, dude. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah, it's hard to lose 2 kills ever in a game.
Yeah, right off the bat.
We see the Dorans on Ziggs is going to be huge mid lane, and there was a slight concern about Ziggs harassing down Vladimir. We see Nocturne going to be just running through. He is safe. Mundo went up and stole the red, and that's actually interesting. Malphite coming down on him. He hasn't gotten the red yet. They will be chasing him down. Malphite will be fine, but still at an early disadvantage. Even though he was trying to get an advantage from the early ganks bottom that Nocturne had.
Oh, but Nocturne, he's still in town. We got the Cleaver trying to hit Smithy, but we've made our presence known. Not the best of decisions. We could have just stayed in the bush, stayed hidden, but we will see the Smithy go ahead to clear. Actually, no, we did. The the red was not taken here, so we will actually be able to secure it for ourselves.
Yeah, it was a really smart play by Malphite, and they had the wards, so clearly they could see Mundo coming in, but even if it wasn't there, they know that there's the threat of Mundo counter jungling, particularly when the jungler shows his face bottom. And so Nocturne showed up bot. That was Mundo's cue. That was Malphite's cue to back off and try and help his teammate. And we see top lane, Renekton has the early advantage, but Malphite can farm underneath the tower, and so his shield is still up. He's fine. Wow, Ziggs jumping on the Unstoppable. One more hit. He's going to be able to get it.
We got the flash. Just one more. Oh, the bomb. Yes. Just barely able to get that one. It's just like, one more auto attack. Okay, not one more auto attack we need. Okay, just give me one more.
And
okay, then we'll get the bomb.
Now with that blue buff, so not only does he have the Dorans, but he has the blue buff mid, and he is going to completely zone Vladimir now. The lane, it's actually going to stay even, so he doesn't have to worry about it pushing into the tower, which means that he's going to get even more time to zone Vladimir. Salsa at such a disadvantage. Wings jumping on the balls, gets some nice damage there, will back off, but balls trading damage very evenly.
Yep.
He will allow his shield to proc. The only concern is the mana versus Renekton, since Renekton doesn't need any. But even so, we'll have to see. A lot of Malphites go Dorans early for that reason. Even if you're not going AP Malphite, his abilities do scale very well with AP, so the AP isn't a waste, but it gives you the early health, which is great for his shield, and it gives you the early spam ability in lane.
So, and once we see him get up a little bit more gold, 790, I can see us getting to about 950, going back and just picking up two of them, coming back into lane. We just need to stick around for a little bit while longer. I think Wings of Death, we're gonna go ahead and back. How much gold do we got? 822. We'll see what we buy with that.
And a 2-level advantage for Ziggs mid. Vladimir's going to catch up here with this creep wave, so that's going to be huge. But he is taking some damage from the creeps, and if Mandatory gets up there, he's actually playing pretty defensively. He doesn't want Mundo to jump in on him. I would think that Ziggs is generally pretty safe against Mundo. Mundo can be an aggressive ganker, but with the satchel charge, Ziggs can easily get out of those ganks since we don't have hard CC, and since Vladimir's at a weakness. But he's fine with just sitting back, just going to continue farming, get that early advantage against Vladimir. And Ziggs, that is one of his benefits. He is one of the easiest farmers in the game. He can get huge farm advantage. When you start pushing down the mid tower and then going steal the enemy wraiths, go steal your own wraiths.
Yep. So we saw Renekton go back. We got 2 long swords, which will eventually be made into a brutalizer. And then Malphite went back. We actually finished. We got our Ninja Tabby and another cloth armor. So we're actually looking to survive quite a bit up here. Top lane, 111 armor. That's a lot to go through. That's a lot. It's a lot that a brutalizer will not be able to cover all of that.
And you just know how much damage Renekton deals. He's all physical damage, jumping in, but Ball's now actually winning the trade, and so there you see Renekton. He's got such a damage advantage, but he can't deal enough, and then Malphite can easily trade with the E. Has that damage output. We do see Nocturne kind of, trying to get some aggression going off, but it's really interesting to see how quickly this lane has swapped, and now with the ultimate, with the Ignite, you always have to watch out for that quick kill potential. Nocturne coming mid. We do see the W from Salsa just as the fear is about to proc. Mundo coming in as well to help him out.
And forcing the pull on a Vlad is just as valuable. It takes a lot of health on Vlad just to be using that thing, which in many cases may actually be more than the damage you're able to put out at any given moment. So being able to force the pull on Vlad, wonderful thing, just as good as attacking him.
And again, it's really interesting to see that the Renekton Malphite matchup. I'm so surprised how quickly that changes, and that was kind of what I was wondering. Was Malphite, he works well against the physical damage. He can shut down some of Renekton's sustain. And so he's kind of zoning him a little bit here, but he does very quickly run through mana, so Renekton can heal up, will be okay. As the game progresses, Renekton just has a lot of damage, can quickly get kills, and that's going to be a concern. Later on, we have a 3-tank team, and Renekton and Mundo and Tarek, they can all hold point for Aphromu and for Salsa. But the thing is, they need to get Vlad and Graves farmed first, and if they can do that, then their late game is going to be very strong. But we just have such a huge advantage right now for mTw, and to go with the damage that Sivir has, go with the AoE that they have with Malphite and with Ziggs.
Who's refreshing his blue buff once again.
Once we start getting into team fights, Ziggs is just going to be an absolute terror.
Yep. Not to mention that it seems that on Malphite here, we went back to town, we got a Ruby Crystal, probably going to see that come into a Heart of Gold, so it looks like we're going to go for an early Randuin's here. onto Malphite. So immediately when we enter those team fights, we're really looking to shut down Graves. You know, we're already stealing attack speed. We might as well just take even some more off if he dares attack us. And you know what? Let's slow him too while we're at it. But we do have the stun attempted here from Yat onto Atlanta. Spell shielded properly, but unstoppable. He's here. He's just going to be able to dissuade them. But Aphromoo he's a boomerang away from death here if we manage to catch it.
Yeah, the dash helped him get out of there, so he was safe. But even so, Sivir has great control. We see actually Salsa exchanging with Mandatory Cloud, just being zoned out of that wave. Can't get up. A little bit of exchange damage top, but Balls wants to get the burst, get back with the shield. Wings of Death winning it a little bit. We actually see the flash in from Aphromoo, but the exhaust coming from Sivir, the flash out from Sivir. He does go down, so Atlanta going down, but an even exchange. And I'd say right now I would probably trade Sivir for Graves easily, considering that Sivir started off with such a huge gold advantage.
Yeah, the kill did go on to Terex. So I mean, we're gonna have a little bit more gold for wars and things like that. But the fact we got kill credits going to the AD carry and to the support. It's not something you really want to give up, but Sivir, we have all that extra gold. We're going to go ahead and get a Vamp Scepter. Probably going to get a BF Sword, build that into a Bloodthirster Lane. And Salsa getting chunked out big time just by the bomb. Do we have the nuke available? We do not.
It hit him!
It hit him, but can we get the last bit of damage we need? We got the Ignite going down. Mandatory Cloud, can you get out of there? Yes, you can.
So just awesome play by Mandatory Cloud, able to pick up that kill. Really impressive. And at 3-0-1, he is just absolutely dominating this game. Those early kills just snowballed him so quickly. And with the range, I mean, he's such a safe pick as well. So not only can he be extremely aggressive, he has that AoE, but he can just, bully people around and not have to really worry about repercussions because Mundo doesn't have hard enough ganks to deal with them.
Not to mention, he can push lanes like an absolute boss. And while Vlad's not here, he's go ahead, push the lane right into tower, force Unstoppable to try and make the best of the situation. We stopped the lane right in front of the tower, so the tower's not quite going to be hitting them. So we're actually got a nice little advantageous situation for Salsa when he comes back in. But still, Mandatory Cloud, that nuke is almost back up. So there's a lot of damage still to be seen.
Yeah, and now that we're seeing that Brutalizer on Renekton, that armor pen and cooldown reduction is just absolutely huge. He's starting to take advantage back on the lane. He has a lot of kill potential. He kind of wants to just slowly wear him down now. And actually, we see Balls coming in. Actually, the ultimate from Xmithy. We have the ultimate from Ziggs as well. Aphromoo just barely getting out of range. And so they will be able to burst down Sivir. We have the ultimate from Janna as well, and they are in pursuit. The exhaust with Mundo. He's going to be able to pick up that kill. Xmithy should be able to get out of there. Top lane, we saw a duel going off between Renekton and Malphite. We can take a look at that in a second. So Xmithy, the stun goes off, so he is going to go down, unfortunately.
But Mandatory Cloud is here. Can we get all the slow we need to? No, we got the turret focus was going down onto Nyat, and Mandatory Cloud is going to have to try and defend this tower 3v1. But let's go take a step back. Let's see what happened top lane between Renekton and Malphite real quick.
Oh, wow. It's so long ago.
It was
now.
a while back. So we got Balls, and we also got Wings of Death here. They're trying to do their best, and we see the Nocturne ult going down, and we got mutual ignites going down on both champs. We have the ult being forced away from Balls, so we get that, but it looks like Wings of Death is actually going to be winning that. We did have to pop the ult to try and just keep our sustain up, though. So
yeah, it's
nice
interesting.
duel.
I think if Balls had a little bit more mana, he almost could have just ulted onto Wings, picked up that kill, but Wings with really nice control there, recognized the early advantage, recognized he didn't have enough mana for the ultimate, and then the follow-up once his abilities were off cooldown again. So, he was going to be safe there, was able to force him out. And so, huge advantage coming back. So a complete swing, complete turnaround of things for TSM Evo now. We get some nice farm on Renekton top. We get some damage on the tower. And, the kills bottom definitely working in their favor.
So we did actually see Ziggs defend bot quite well against the 3-man leftover push here. And we also see Balls returning the lane. He did back. Got our mana back. We got our health back. And what we got? We got a regrowth pendant. So regrowth pendant. Do we still have the cloth armor from before? So it looks like we're going to be going for our second GP10. That should be going into a Philo Stone, just so we have a little bit extra mana regen top lane. We're not going to go for the Dorns. We're not going to start stacking health because I think right now priority is still to try and get that Randuin's.
Yeah, and so, I mean, he's going to have enough sustain with that mana regen. He doesn't really need a whole lot of items as Malphite. He's not planning on dealing too much damage. He's primarily about teamfight disruption. That definitely works out for him. And so, right now, I don't know, everyone from mTw is very fine with just holding the lanes. I mean, they know their control isn't from picking up kills early. They just kind of want to farm. They want to sit back, and then once it comes to mid-game, very quickly they're going to try and snowball and just push right down a wave. And that's the threat with them, is the fact that Sivir can clear towers so quickly, Ziggs can clear waves so quickly, and that dual kind of threat could snowball very quickly against TSM Evo. But they are doing a pretty good job of kind of turning it against them. Nocturne trying to steal this blue. He does not actually get it. He had the ward there, or didn't have a ward, but kind of just sitting around.
So we got Atlanta still. We're still being pretty aggressive here at bot lane in terms of we got the stun, actually managing to catch Atlanta off guard, but we have the ult from Jan trying to clear away, but Nat actually pushing him into the tower. He is ignited. Will Atlanta be able to get away? Last damage we needed onto Tarek, and we're going to be barely able to get out of there. But we got Nocturne, we got Smithy here. We got the Q on Ephramu, and we got the fear. He's trapped.
I'm almost just imagining Atlanta being like, dang it, Muffin Cutie, what are you doing? But then picking up the double kill, it worked out for him.
That's using the lightest of words that we can here. We're trying to be PG-13 here, unless hot shots in the game. That's a different story.
Yeah. But we do see Ziggs able to pick up that blue buff. Again, that's just going to give him so much control. He can farm very easily. He is 30 CS ahead of Vladimir right now, so doing a really effective job. It's interesting, though, that's about how far he was ahead earlier. So Vladimir has kind of made his way back into it. He can farm now very effectively against Ziggs with the regen. He's very safe up there. And we see Renekton, because of the harass that he has to deal with against Malphite, actually picking up a Spirit Visage. So the health will help him out, but he can exchange damage and not have to worry about just instantly falling. And you see how much damage Malphite can do, but then he can go up regen. We see Unstoppable jumping on that Atlanta. The spell shield is down, so they are chasing. Get some nice damage, will get out of there, but now Atlanta is at a disadvantage without any heal.
Actually, now I'm kind of curious. We got movement speed, 50% movement speed onto the from the Mundo ult. I'll check in a second how much movement speed we got off the Sivir ult, because we actually have Renekton's ult being popped here. We got Ignite going down once again onto Renekton, but it's not as deep as a trade as we had last time. So yeah, that's good for them. What's the let's see here. Attack speed, movement 20%. Speed by 20%. So Sivir's movement speed buff on the ult is actually bigger than Mundo. So if they ever want to do Pursue, they will actually have that advantage.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case. Mundo coming mid a little bit, doesn't really have a whole lot of opportunities up there. And it's interesting, Renekton versus Malphite again. Renekton, it's very common to see him just use the ultimate. He can, very easily, just do that. It's a short cooldown. We see some damage going off from Ephramu. Can burst down Atlanta a little bit. But the Renekton ultimate, you can very easily just use it to farm, get yourself back in lane. It's on a short enough cooldown. You don't have to use it to get kills. You can just use it like a heal, because it's not a shield. It gives you health. At the end of the ultimate, you get to keep all that health. So that is something that's pretty common in a lot of pro play. And now that Malphite's out of mana, Wings can be a little bit more aggressive. He knows, all right, let me keep a track of it. I'm not sure how much he has right now. It's probably about 150. He has about enough for the ult, but not enough to finish him off. He just doesn't have enough burst without that Ignite. And so now Wings can be a little bit more aggressive in lane.
So we still have Atlanta here trying to be aggressive, but we see Nocturne coming up here. Xmithy, we do have an Oracles here onto Nocturne, so we are fishing around a little bit. We're going to go ahead and see one into that Tribush as well. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that. We got Aftermoon trying to be aggressive on Atlanta here. Spell Shield is still available to us. We're waiting, trying to bait out that stun from Terra, because remember, if you do pop the Spell Shield, Sivir does get back a little bit of mana, so it does kind of benefit her in lane as well. So we're just trying to get that away from Tarek, and try and ease off a little bit of the aggression here from Aftermoon as well.
Yeah, we do see Mundo has Oracles as well, is going to be able to clear out a ward. Not really a whole lot as far as aggression from Mundo, but there's not a lot of lanes that he can gank, so he's very comfortable. Just give him that map control. He has the movement speed. He works to counter out Nocturne a little bit. Nocturne coming up top again, but Mundo did see him, so they do have the vision there. While, this is kind of, I don't know, we'll see. It's a very farm-intensive game right now. Both teams kind of ready to just sit back until that mid-game.
Yep.
And just kind of wait for their opportunities.
While we're waiting for that mid-game, let's go speed up here, because we were a little bit behind from
Oh,
last
but
time.
we have the gank top
Oh.
Nocturne with the ultimate. We have Wings of Death throwing off the ultimate as well, and so now Nocturne a little bit out of position, but the ultimate from Malphite is going to quickly burst him down. Now Wings of Death coming onto Xmithy, grabs the kill, but
Nice.
Mandatory Cloud there as well, able to grab it against Nocturne, so a 2-for-1 exchange.
I like that exchange. I like that exchange a lot because 2-for-1. We managed to put our aggression here up on top tower, and we got another kill on Mundo here. Mundo, Nocturne. They're still quite even. Nocturne is a little bit of an XP deficit here on Mundo as well, but it proves you're not as tanky as you think you are.
And the big thing is you're denying a boatload of experience to Renekton. You get some damage onto the tower.
Yep.
Aframu and Nat Nguyen pushing really aggressively down bottom can get some damage. They will back off now, but even so, they can push into the tower. So I don't know. Clearly 2-for-1 is in your favor, but
Yeah.
the fact that they can kind of slow down Renekton a little bit works out very well as well.
We should be back onto regular time here in just a second. We just got to go ahead and speed up the spectator mode just a little bit. But you do have Atlanta still engaging here on Aframu, pushing bot lane quite well. And we also see Unstoppable X. He's wandering back down to bot, see if we can't make something happen once again here down on bot lane, and we should be actually back up to normal speed in just a second here. There we go.
And it's interesting, now we're starting to see TSM Evo, they recognize the range of Vladimir versus Malphite. That's a really favorable matchup. They can, he can just sit there and farm. Right now, they all as a team, they want to farm. They're not looking for kills. They don't need Vladimir mid for the kills or for the fight control. Renekton, gives them nice fight control, but then Vladimir can just, free farm up top. Renekton should be okay. He's going to take some range harass from Mandatory, but the fact that he can just jump in and insta-clear waves is easy. But we actually see mTw just being really aggressive. Sivir split pushing that bottom lane while all of them are just jumping on this mid, and I think we're at that point in the game where we said earlier, mTw, they have such an aggressive pushing team, and that's kind of what we're going to start to see, and it is a threat for Renekton, whether or not he can engage on them, but with the disengage that they have, with all, with Sivir and with Janna and with Ziggs, it's almost impossible for TSM Evo to engage, and then they have such great clearing capabilities and such great pushing capabilities as well.
Yeah, I mentioned it before about the Sivir. I've said it before, say it again. Fantastic at split pushing. We can clear waves so effectively, and our ult allows us to get away pretty free and easy. However, now that Mundo's actually leveled up his ult a little bit more, he now actually has a little bit more movement speed than Sivir does. Oh, we try to get as much damage as we can here onto Renekton. And now Aframu is actually also trying to push in exchange, but our supports are not here with us. So it's going to be a little bit more hairy to try and go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, we also have mTw pushing up top lane. The tier 1 over there will be theirs. So now we have to think about what Evo has to do next here. And everyone's kind of split up. Salsa is actually out here. He might actually get caught out, forcing the pool, forcing him to run away, and we actually got the ult here coming in for Umballs. We're trying to get as much damage as we can here. We might actually be able to get it. We got the Ignite, and we also had the Exhaust. Will we be able to get away from this one? Yeah, Balls is tanking that tower like a boss.
Yeah, and so just so much burst damage. They can combo their CCs very easily. Now you see Atlanta able to push down this mid lane. They don't really have the engage, and that's what we've been talking about. While they can split push top, we see actually a Mandatory Cloud, though, coming in. We have the Exhaust onto Unstoppable. They're going to get some nice burst damage. He's very close to going down, does go down.
Yeah.
Then they can back off. They have to deal with Wings, though, and Wings comes in with the flash. He has the
nice
ultimate.
ult.
Renekton trying to get the engage, can't quite get the stun. They will be able to get out of there, and it's just so difficult for them to engage on mTw.
Throwing up tornadoes. That's what Janna is doing right now to Wings. Just cannot manage to let him get close at all. We should also be able to take out this tower pretty easy as well. Ziggs Bob! Yes, we got it! That makes me so happy. It does. Just like Ziggs is just... Because you see that ring around, you're like, oh,
the
no.
Ring of Death.
It's
and
like,
so,
yeah, I can imagine Graves right now. It's like, son of a...
And they do get the tower out of that. They have, the great range killing potential. And the big concern is that, I don't know, TSM Evo, they have no means of engaging. So we can just see really aggressive push all day by mTw. They don't have the creep clearing capabilities that they would need. Both Vladimir and Renekton can clear creep waves, but they have to get so close range to do it. Graves could do it as well, but he also has to get pretty short range. And the issue is if Graves comes up to clear the creep wave, that's going to be immediately followed up by a Malphite ultimate. So, we can just see aggressive pushing all day from mTw, and I'm not sure how TSM is going to stop it.
Yeah, they need to get really close range to clear those waves, and they also cannot do it better.
We'll have to figure out if we just call them Evo. I was just thinking,
Evo.
I can't call them TSM because
then we get now if we actually have original TSM of here, that would just get confusing. That'd just be weird. And even worse, what if we get both clg, NA, and EU together at IPL5 somewhere?
That's just awesome.
It's like
that's
that's
not like a bad situation. That's fantastic.
It's a wonderful thing anytime you get an excuse to say Optimus Prime over and over and over again. But at that point, it just gets confusing. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because right now we got mTw going straight over for Baron. They definitely have the damage to do it. Graves is away from the rest of the team. Unstoppable's not going to be able to do much on his own. Well, mTw, they got the ult. We got the ult from Sivir. We're going in on this. Trying to focus down Salsa and and trying to get his stun here, but we also got the Nocturne ult coming straight in onto the support. We're pushing him away quite effectively, but Smithy is still in pursuit. You may want to back off just a little bit because you're working yourself into a sandwich here. Wings to Death is away from the rest of the team. Tornado will keep him away there just for a moment. Now mTw, we got the flash in from Balls for the ult and the Ziggs bomb to follow up. Natio and very, very low, and we got the Janna there just to keep Renekton away just for a little bit. His ult is popped, but the regen will not be able to do a whole lot. And Salsa out of the pool. Smack. Ace. 5-0 for mTw, and they're just going to go ahead and push.
Yeah, so this is going to be at least one inhibitor from this. I don't think they have enough time for two. I would say that Malphite could probably tank it for them and they could take the top, but there's probably not enough time.
Yeah.
But even so, you see with the Malphite and with the Nocturne and with Janna, they don't have a means of engaging on Sivir and Ziggs in the back. And so Sivir and Ziggs were safe the whole time.
Yep.
Renekton jumping in there, but they had the tanks up front. They have the disables. They're perfectly content to just sit back, deal some damage. And so... we just have great fight control by mTw. I thought that maybe they had forced the Baron a little bit too hard. They wanted to force a fight because they know how strong they are. But, I don't know. They didn't really have enough damage or follow-up. So you saw early on, it looked like maybe it was going to go against them. They kind of, pulled themselves out of position. Nocturne getting a little bit low. They weren't quite able to get the initiation that they wanted to on Graves. They were kind of split.
Yeah.
But even so, they were able to work it out. Unfortunately, though, we might have an opportunity for Evo to kind of force this Baron. Actually, never mind. We have the blue buff on Sivir, so Sivir's going to be fine. I was going to say that Sivir is low mana, but they're actually just forcing it, so they want to have a quick fight. They know, all right, we need to stop this quickly.
And this is really a desperation move. This is really like one of their very few options. We got the Boomerang Blade coming in from Sivir, doing quite a bit of damage. And we also got the Ziggs Bomb coming in as well, along with the ult in from Balls. Now, who's actually going to be able to pick up the Baron? It's still there. It's still up. It's still trying to battle it out. We got Sobble and Smithy trying to finish it off here. And it's still, actually, there we go. We got it down, and mTw is able to go ahead and pick it up. Everyone's just go ahead, dying in the pit. Ziggs does go down to Graves, but we got the Nocturne ult. We got the Exhaust. We got the Fear. We should be able to clean that up. Another ace for mTw. We only got 2 members of our team alive with Baron, but you know what? It should be enough, and it's always going to be enough. You got an ace, so that's always a good thing.
Yeah, and it almost worked out well for them after we were able to get a couple of kills. If he could have killed Nocturne, then maybe he could have turned it around. I don't see the issue is I don't know if he can take either Nocturne. He should be able to take Nocturne 1v1, but he can't take Malphite, I don't think, which is weird because Malphite is a tank. You're not normally going to be expecting him to be beating your AD carry, but just the fact that he has so much armor and so much damage at this point. So, I don't know, they have very good cleanup potential as well, and they were able to get the fight going before Ziggs was able to get in. So because they were kind of split, they were able to engage on Ziggs, and that's the one thing they've been missing the entire game is the ability to engage on Ziggs, get into that back line.
Right.
But even so, it still worked out for mTw. They're still able to pick up those kills, and so they just have such a massive advantage in this game.
So now we just got to see, what mTw is going to do from here. They could still go ahead and pick any lane and really push. We still got 2 members of our team with Baron buff. We got Nocturne and we got Malphite. Nocturne, he's going to be doing so much damage.
Oh, and he's got a Randuin's himself for Graves. So both Nocturne and Malphite with that anti-carry ability.
We got Nocturne with the Randuin's. We got the Frozen Heart here. Onto Malphite, and he's got the Heart of Gold too. Once we get enough gold, we can really do it. But I think 1 is enough. And actually, we got both of our bases covered. We got the attack speed reduction on the Frozen Heart. We got the attack speed reduction on the Randuin's Omen as well. If we just decide, if Nocturne does get focused, and we also got the movement speed slow here, just in case we need it. After we actually just getting outranged here.
Yeah, and they drop that tower so quickly.
Yeah.
As a team, they can just easily push down these towers. We see Salsa is very low, so they might want to engage on it, but it's just so easy for them to take the tower, so they're just going to safely take it, take the inhibitor as well. They can transition right to top lane. Balls should be able to tank that tower, so they can just walk right up, tank it, take down that tower as well.
Meanwhile, all the super minions right here that they have to deal with. Yep, right here. Actually, X-Smithing, maybe not the best tank, but we got.
They have the shield. He's got plenty of armor.
We got plenty. We're good. We're good to go. We got the mines keeping everyone away, and we got a desperation move in here from Vlad. We got the flash. We got the old X-Smithing. Is actually going to be the first one to go down. We also got the Janna ult trying to clear everyone away. Who's going to be going down next to? We got Mandatory Cloud and Atlanta perfectly well positioned in the back wall. Balls is trying to keep everyone distracted. Manuel is just going straight in. Can we get the stun off on someone? But we get the damage. The last bit of damage we need. Balls is still out there. Can we just solo Unstoppable X on ourselves? Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have Atlanta and we have Mandatory Cloud, and the two of them are so strong right now. Atlanta going to be chasing down Wings of Death. Doesn't have the range. Just barely able to get it. Yeah.
We got it.
So now 3 inhibitors down for MTW.
Yeah, and Atlanta, we also we got the lifesteal we need from our Vamp Scepter, so we should have everything we need to go ahead and finish this game up. Afromoo is the only one alive at the moment. We might actually be able to ping down Sivir here with our poke, but you know what, MTW, they're still in the lead. They got 3 champs, ridiculously low health. Just play it safe, go ahead, recall, because this is game 3. This is the deciding one. Malphite will be able to get back here in time. No, we don't want you to be buckshotted here.
Even so, I think he could probably turn and beat Aframo. The only concern is if Aframo stalls him long enough for the rest of his team to get there.
Which area?
Yeah, Tarek coming up. But again, you saw, even though Nocturne went down mostly to the tower, he went down early in the fight. Still, Evo, with the best fight that they could imagine, just can't get into the back line. Renekton chasing the entire time. He tries dashing. Janna throws off a whirlwind. Just, can't get the damage onto Sivir and Ziggs. And so Sivir and Ziggs can just easily turn around those long fights.
X-Smithy started that fight low because he was the one tanking tower. They thought, it was like, oh man, this will be no problem. This tower will be easy. Not as easy as initially thought. If we had Balls actually tanking that tower, I think we would have ended up, the game would probably end up being over right now. But they are still in such a commanding lead. They can go ahead, go back, get their health, farm up, and we can just continue the push. Once again, mid-inhib should be going down shortly, and once again, we'll be pushing in on the Nexus towers. That's all we got left here for TSM Evo. We're just waiting. We got the super minions pushing down bottom. We got the engaged. We should be looking for our last fight here from Evo in just a few moments. One tower gone. The other one will be gone just a second. We got the Nocturnal coming down just to secure our kills. We got the Fear going down onto Aframo. He will die right in front of his fountain, right at the stoop. Atlanta also going ahead, getting the kill there on Salsi. The tower is gone. The Nexus is naked. All the super minions pushing. We got the Sivir ult to go ahead and secure it. That is it. GG. mTw.NA moving on to round of 4.